All right, everybody, we are back for another episode, and this is a big, special, sentimental episode as it is the official 2-year anniversary of the closing table. So come along and celebrate with us. I myself, Bay Ragni, of course, the chief in charge, Papa Dan over there, Dan Pizzi of NextHome Brandywine. He's got his Hawaiian Reading Royals shirt on. He's got the Christmas Reading Royals logo in the background, and he's ready to update us on all the happenings in the world of NextHome Brandywine because there's so much happening. We're blown away. We were just discussing this time of year. It's usually the slow period, the slowdown, but it's exploding. Dan, come on, talk to us. Fill us in.
There's no rhyme or reason for it. 2 years. Can you believe we're doing this for 2 years?
It's, you know what? When I was putting the link together, the episode the other day, I was like, I can't believe it's episode 24. It's actually 2 years. And here's Hub.
So, in perfect fashion, Hub joined the program. Wait a minute. Wait. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh.
There it is.
I'm left out. I should have got some.
Oh, wait a minute. Hub, can you read it?
It is a gift package. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
It is a gift package from Mrs. Renfro herself.
Look at this.
Only problem is she's the grandma and it's the grandkids that are running the company right now.
Is that good or bad?
Would you like to have a grand opening of this right now?
Yeah, why not? What the hell? It's a
Yeah,
Christmas episode. So you do that, and I'll you do that while I fill people in on real estate. We're going to get to that. I had today the ghost pepper, Mrs. Renfro, for dinner in my chili. So I brought it to the episode with us. This is the one Hub gave away, but I am using it little by little because it's super hot.
It's inedible.
No, it's not that bad.
Oh, you probably put one drop in your Italian soup.
I put a teaspoon in my chili, and I had 2 bowls. If I have to use the facility during the episode, you know why. But there it is, ghost pepper, Mrs. Renfro's, and I have my chips with me.
Hub's got fans. Look at this.
Hey, Trinkset was on asking for the link. I'm glad you joined. Because this will be a fun episode. So Hub, who sent that gift packet to you?
My lovely wife here.
Okay.
And I have not opened it, so I'm using my cutting utensil to cut open here because I know this is a special gift package, which they all say Texas inside. That's sort of a map of Texas here.
Pretty nice packaging. Packaging's big now.
Uh-oh. Something just fell out.
Uh-oh.
It's a card from a Christmas card personally made to the podcast that we're doing right now.
Look at this.
Closing table from Mrs. Renfro. Yeah, it says thank you for choosing Mrs. Renfro to spice up your day, and it means the world to us. Sincerely, the Renfro family, and this is the grandkids. Bill Renfro, Jack Renfro, Becky Renfro, Barbella, James Renfro, and Joey Renfro.
Wow.
So they got a lot. I mean, this is a family operation here going on.
When we hit the lottery, we'll buy them out and we'll run it.
and now Renfro is a Scottish name. I looked it up. It is a Scottish name, which is derived from Renfrew. And so they also made Southern spices like Cajun spices when they first started out. So it's salsas. So they did the Dixieland and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And so it's a Christmas card from everybody.
That is phenomenal.
And the thing is, that's phenomenal. Oh, that's very personable. And the thing is that see.
Look at this.
This is Miss Renfro, and it says, there's a little bit of grandma in every jar, but it says not literally.
Thank God for that.
And so what I found is the secret is to take the habanero, which is not nearly as hot as the ghost pepper that you got. Where did you get the ghost pepper from?
I ordered a 2-pack on Amazon, and a habanero and a ghost pepper. Let me see if I can get this right. Here we go.
I didn't know you like spicy stuff, Dan.
Yeah, I'm getting old, so you got to limit. I didn't love the black bean as much as Hub likes the black bean.
Well, the black bean, and then you could put some. What you could do is you can customize it, and you can put some of the habanero in the black bean.
Yes.
And it's really, really good. It's none of these are going to be really good with chips. To me, they're really going to be good on food to spice up your food.
Well, Bay, I'm going to ship you some.
I feel left out. If I would know we were having a Mrs. Renfro party, I would have stopped and got some.
Yeah, well, he did. He had some, and he went to Kroger, I think it was, and they had a really good bargain on it.
I got them on Amazon. They were not cheap, but I had to try it since it was Hub selection. What other kind you got there, Hub? It's blocking your name. What kind's that? The habanero?
All I've got is the habanero and the black bean.
Excellent. That's your favorite two flavors.
Yeah, exactly. And if I want something that's really going to make it have a nice zing to it, I use just the habanero plain. But if I want to have a general flavor, I put the habanero, a little bit of habanero in the black bean. Black beans are actually not, they're not even, speaking of more multi-ethnic, they are not, black beans are in our Southwest Mexican food here. And even people in deep down Mexico, they don't eat black beans as much because black beans are not even Mexican. Black beans are Chinese. And the Mexican people have taken the black bean and they put it in their food a lot. They have black bean burritos, all that kind of stuff.
Your head's cut off. Raise up your mic or your camera. There you go. You're good.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're good. So,
like for instance, where Bay is he's working with is the Moe's, and it's a Southwest, like where we live here, Southwest.
Do you know how many pounds of black beans a day we go through?
Yeah, the black beans, and they're really, really good. I don't know if you're familiar with black bean burritos. Like I say, if you're farther down in Mexico, they don't eat black beans like they do in the northern part of Mexico and on the ranches. Again, they're Chinese, and Mexican people are like super open to all kinds of food. I mean, they really are. They know how to cook, and their family recipes are just incredible. Not just like your standard like restaurant stuff here that people get, but if you go to the family restaurants and stuff, they are really creative with their food.
So 2 points. One, we're going to be sponsored by Mrs. Renfro's from now on for season 3 here of the Closing Table. And 2, now you know why we brought Hub on as a permanent co-host, because he brings all this value to the program. When did you join us, Hub? What was it, like episode 4 or 5?
No, it wasn't that early.
No, I don't know, but I mean, it's been a delightful experience.
I think it's been what do you think, Bay? Episode 6?
No, I think it was about the halfway mark.
No, we got to go back. We're going to do some research. I should have done it already. We're going to go back and find out how long Hub has been part of the program. He was friends with Bay, I know, and he listened to the program, and he brought so much insight and so much quirkiness. We said, you join the program permanently.
I've known Hub, I think it's about 10 years now.
Is it that long?
It might be.
We might have known we became friends about like 6 years ago. We became really good friends about 6 years ago. Yeah.
I think you're working too many hours and you're losing track of time, Bay. That's what I think.
Yeah, but right now, and his opportunities that he's got, he's loving it because
it's insane.
Things are coming together and everything's
finally
going good for him right now. So he's like on cloud 9 right now.
He's got the cat back up.
Even the cat agrees.
Yeah, the cat's back up there. And let's get some quick real estate out of the way, and then we will head into some just some more fun here for about 30 minutes. We didn't want to leave you out. We wanted some consistency in our programming, as Hub always says. So we wanted to jump on and wish everybody happy holidays, a Merry Christmas, Happy Festivus, and kind of give you some insight on what's going on here in December. See that? Bay got the reference. Happy Festivus.
Can I say
for the rest
something?
Of us. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the interest rates have gone down just a little bit.
And that'll be a perfect lead into what I'm talking about. So before I jumped on, my friend Chuck Vosberg and his wife Pat from NextHome Gulf to Bay put an update on Facebook. And Chuck, I gave you credit, but I stole your information because it was excellent information to Chuck Vosberg. If you're buying in the Orlando, I think, area, Tampa, that area, Chuck and Pat Vosberg. So, as Hub said, interest rates went down a little bit. And this is what, if I'm yelling, I got one ear working here. So this is year over year data. Home prices are up 38%. And, home listings are up 38%. Home sales are up 7%. The median price of a house in the United States, get this number, $488,000. Median sale price of a house. So because the sales are up, prices are up. And as Hub just mentioned, the interest rates have dropped. So it's not time to sit back. And this is the reason why. When the rates drop, the market is going to see an increase of activity, right? So some people are saying we want to sit this out and wait till it levels out and interest rates drop a little more. And as Chuck pointed out, the market's going to be flooded. Do not wait. Interest rates dropped. We have a little bit more inventory on the market. The prices have moderated a hair. They really haven't gone down. So now is probably the time to at least dip your toe in and start looking, because you're not in major competition yet. As Chuck mentioned, no one has a crystal ball, but we do feel that we might be in for another big market push come spring. As I was speaking to Bay before we went on the air, we got so busy in the last month. I don't recall in my 17 years we've had this kind of push this late. Some stuff would settle in December, but we haven't had a push like this in quite a while. I literally, and we have a small office, NextHome Brandywine, Westchester, PA, as you know, I'm taking 4 new listings. I just took one. I have one going up on Friday night, December 22nd at 4 o'clock. The guy wants me there. He didn't want to wait till after Christmas, wants the house listed. I have 2 more coming up, Cochranville and Lebanon, and Cochranville will be up right after Christmas. Lebanon, my investor, is finishing up. Lisa just did, as we said last episode, $1.2 million in November, and we just settled 5 deals out. Lisa's writing another offer tonight for a client, and she has another client that she's out showing houses to as well. So we've picked up.
Lisa.
Yeah, it's Lisa hustles. Yeah, that's one thing about our office. Like I said last month, Lisa went out 17 straight days showing people houses. She hustles. So we are doing, as far as activity goes, better, and prices are still up there. And we had 2 of the townhomes across from me just went up. 6 years ago, those townhomes were selling for $160,000. We just had one sell for $275 and another for $280. So, and they sold in one day. So we have a lot of activity. Things are selling as they're listed. And up here, unlike these 2 guys, it's cold as hell. I'm wearing my Hawaiian shirt tonight because we just got them from the Royals. But it is cold, and that means we slow down. Our temperatures are not moderated. And when it's cold, we slow down up here. Not this year, not so far. So we'll see. You know how bad it's been, but we'll see. This seemed a lot of positive news coming out of the last 20 days here.
Dan, let me ask you, because I've been wondering this since I was seeing all the activity going on with all the recent settlements and all you guys have been having, especially this past week. The people that are buying these houses, are they investment properties? Are they like families? Because I can't picture like a family going to settlement the week before or even the month of Christmas, because I would think it's just such a crazy, hectic time. How are you supposed to get into a house and then be ready to celebrate the holiday season?
Well, I just said to this guy, he called me up about 8 days ago. He's moving to Georgia. He was a township manager in Westchester. He's got a big job in the Atlanta area. So he said, I need to list a house. So I said, all right. I said, after Christmas. Oh, no, I got to list the house now. It's Christmas. it's Hanukkah, so he had a move situation. So that was one of those ones we had to do it. He has to go in a timely fashion. We had one of the ones Lisa did for our friend Trish. She had already sold her house. She was sitting on the money, living with a friend, waiting on an opportunity to find something. She found it.
Wow.
She got the price she wanted. She got the location she wanted, so she popped on it. It was very weird cross section right now. We had people down below here that had a townhouse and they had 6 dogs in there. So they kind of had to go.
Okay.
And the neighbors, even myself, as I walked my dog, we're getting tired of her dogs wanting to eat everybody as we walk by. So they've been looking. They found a place up at Birdsboro, a little bit more land up there, a little bit more rural in Berks County. And again, the price was right. And they were getting high value for their house. Even though the interest rates are still crippling, like Hub had mentioned, they're starting to come down a little bit. So there's investors. I just sold Troy a house, my good buddy Troy. That opportunity popped up. I talked to my agent, Ann. She had a lady that had a situation that needed to sell. It was a house that needed a lot of work. My buddy Troy had owned the house attached to it, the twin. It was a perfect match. Picked up the phone. Wasn't perfect timing, but I said, look, the other half of that twin is up. Do you want it? And sure you want it. If you own one side, you want to own both sides if you're an investor. So he jumped on that. So we had an investment sale. We had somebody that had sold their house waiting to buy. We had someone that was in a situation where the house wasn't a perfect fit for them and they found what they wanted. Lisa's son has been sitting on the sidelines for I don't know how long. We just found him a house. Needed some work, but the price point was good. But Hub, I think some of the spark in the energy, as you mentioned articulately at the beginning, is the interest rates seem to be heading in the right direction, and that is on a downward slope.
Well, we do have a problem with the media is telling people that the economy's bad.
You know what's funny?
That's not helping anything.
I'm going to share it out on my Facebook page. Again, astute. Chuck Vosberg just mentioned that, saying what the media is saying is what isn't actually going on in the field. Isn't that a surprise, huh? So that's an excellent point. I'm going to share out Chuck's little clip that he just put up, and he said the same thing. He said the same thing you said about the media saying that it's bad, it's bad, it's bad.
Yeah, but people get brainwashed real quick, and then they panic and they don't buy for a little while. Then they want to go start buying things again.
He's right. And Bay, to Hub's point, some people just said, you know what? We don't see a major shift. We're just going to go get what we want to get because we're tired of waiting on the sideline. And what Chuck was mentioning is, which was another good point, he was saying that if people wait too long and this shifts, we're going to have 4 and 5, 6 officers in every house again, just like we did post-COVID. And that's a disaster for the consumer, for the people involved. Right. I will mention this, which I've seen as a big problem. The back offices of the title companies, not everybody, it's not a blanket statement, the mortgage companies, the conveyancers, absolutely poor service, no attention to detail. 9 out of 10 settlements are being pushed from the settlement date. And when I was started in this business in Century 21, 9.5 out of 10 went on time. I was just talking to my title company, Aaron Abstract, in the Plymouth meeting, Bluebell area. Janine said we have 4 settlements one day. 3 of the 4 did not go because of extreme gross negligence and people paying attention to detail. We're not even that busy. So my fear is if we get super busy, a lot of people left the industry. A lot of experienced people left the industry. We have a lot of new people. My concern is, are we going to be able to handle from a paperwork workload standpoint and from a attention to detail standpoint, a real push? It's going to be interesting because I'm noticing a real shit show in the paperwork and people's operations right now.
Well, speaking of the way business is rolling and how well it's rolling, a month ago, you were real concerned about being slow this month. Yeah. And it looks like you've had a pleasant surprise.
100%. And you never know. You know what? Part of the stress in this business is Like I'm a project manager, so I like to take a look and cross-section things. I was just talking to her. I was telling Bay before we jumped on, a friend of mine, she does a lot of Philadelphia properties, a lot of lower price points. She hustles like crazy, Teresa Keller. And she told me this past 10 days, and she has 2 girls. She's a single mom. She's preparing for Christmas. She's working hard. And she said, I can't believe how busy we got out of nowhere. And it's just like, and it's like Bay was mentioning, who is it? It's every sector. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, especially the last 3 weeks, it's been this crazy, and which cold as hell up here. Usually when the weather gets cold and there's negative news, people kind of just hunker in front of the fireplace. But it's been crazy.
But it's also Christmas too, and Christmas is generally slow for real estate because people they don't want to go and look at a house. They want to hang around their family.
Another thing is we're usually slow until the Super Bowl. It's the unofficial start to the real estate spring market in our region is Super Bowl Sunday. The week after Super Bowl, we're usually busy with people saying, okay, I'm going to start looking because I want to be in when the kids get out of school. So I want to try to get my house sold in March, get out of it in the end of May, and get ready to, move in before the summer. So
let me ask you this, Dan. Since you're a sports guy. If you know Dan Pizzi, you know Dan's a sports guy. Being the fact that you brought that up, say, you're in the Philadelphia area. Say the Eagles are going to end up going to the Super Bowl. They have a great run in the playoffs. Would that slow you guys down in January, and vice versa? If they end up tanking and out of the playoffs early, would it make your business go up?
We correct on both points. We go as they go. I mean, it's so funny. Even on the daily, if they lose on a Monday and you're doing, regional work like I do, the phone's dead. Everybody's cranky and miserable. They just go, if they win, everybody's at Dunkin' getting a free cup of coffee and everybody's happy.
Is it like Dunkin'?
My wife always goes by, do I get a free cup of coffee at Dunkin'? So that's kind of the way it rolls here. And little things affect each market. That's why I enjoy having you guys on, because you have a little bit different perspective in your marketplaces, and it's vastly different from a Tennessee market to a Texas market to a Philadelphia market.
It's funny. At Moe's, we are the official queso of the Nashville Predators. So every time the Predators win, you get a free cup of queso.
See?
And the employees there, they just curse. They're like, did the Preds win?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that team has. I watched their preseason. They did a little behind the scenes with them. That team has a big following. It seems like me and Danny want to get
very hardcore following.
If you can see, I don't know if you can. I busted my finger off, my whole little finger, ripped the top of it off, putting a sign in the ground, and because it snowed. It was yesterday. It snowed yesterday, and I had to put a sign in the ground. I almost ripped my whole hand off trying to jam a sign in a. You know what? I should have asked Hub because I didn't work smarter. I didn't have the proper tools, and I was trying to slam a sign in the ground that was frozen. So it wasn't very smart of me.
Is your finger okay?
It's a mess. I don't know. I might have to get stitches. I'm going to leave it for now. We'll see what happens. I literally ripped the blood was everywhere, and I heard my grandfather in my head say, "Just wrap it up with a towel and keep going." So that's what we did. I found he would have been proud. I found a dirty rag in the truck. I rolled it up, went to CVS, poured peroxide on it, wrapped it up, and kept going. And so now we'll figure it out in a couple of days. But yeah, it was. It's been. My wife's like, "Holy cow, your fingers are red." So I got a little better today. We'll see. I don't feel like going to urgent care, but it's been like had I had that house listed. Like I was like listing houses like in 25 degrees and snow on the ground. Look at there's my photographer. There she is. She was, and my cousin, by the way, Jody, and she was out at that house I cut my finger on. And then guess what? She called me today, right? And she said, "Hey, your sign's laying on the ground." It fell out of the ground. So Jody put the sign up against the house for me, and she just shot that quirky house that we have that's very ergonomically incorrect. And it was in the middle of nowhere, and we're Delaware County people. She calls me up. She's with her mother, and she says, "Where the hell are you sending me?" Because in Chester County, we got some rural shit out here, man. Some crazy roads, and we're not used to that. We're Delco people. We're Delco people. So Jody went out there Christmas week. I have another one for you, Jody, but we're not going to make you go out on the 22nd at 4:00. We got to schedule that one in Honeybrook. So that was my photographer, my cousin, Jody. Nobody better. See, George likes our Christmas theme. George, I'm the only one that got the memo for the Christmas theme. But Hub just
I didn't get the salsa memo.
Yeah, I know. And we're gonna have some of that before the end of the episode there. Yeah, it's go ahead, Hub.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Were you going to say something we missed?
I was just trying to say, we're talking to. I'm not sure what I'm going to say right now.
Let's get into maybe some of our favorite moments from the show and some of our favorite guests that we've had. What do you think, Bay, out of the 2 years worth of guests and shows? And it's hard to think back of all the people.
You know what? It's hard, and then you're trying to go through like the Rolodex in your head.
Bo was on, my mortgage guy. We had Dave.
Yeah.
I thought he did a great job with the insurance. Jody was on, talked about photography. My good friends Diane and Darlene Badnerick joined the program from Fallcroft.
They were a lot of fun.
They're the best. They're the great. You talk about sports fans. Those two girls are the greatest.
There's everybody that we've brought on has brought something, and it's been fun. It's been informative. You're learning, but especially with the real estate people, because for me, and I'm sure Hub would probably agree too, it's very eye-opening because a lot of this stuff, I mean, in all reality, I never thought I'd be able to sit here and as I'm hearing conversations going on, it's like rapid fire in my head, all the questions that just start fueling. So I'm like, it's a lot of fun.
And Hub brings a lot to that as well. I think the top two guests as far as views on the program. Can anybody?
I know who one of them is.
Go ahead.
Amanda.
Yes.
And the thing is, I'm now friends with her on Facebook, and I have been since she was on there. But the interesting thing about Amanda is it ties in with how you say you're old school and you like to go to the, I guess, proverbial diner. But you made the diner, the sports show, like the smaller league sports show might be your diner where you're going to meet regular people, that kind of thing. But, and I was telling you about how my friend, this guy I know sells tiny houses, and you said we should get him on the show. And I said, well, first off, I don't know what he's going to be. And I think the reason I brought that up is because Amanda is basically the advice they give for getting to know people when you want to know people in your town is to meet the waitresses and to meet the hairdressers, because they know everybody. You see, and Amanda is. Well, Amanda, exactly. We've got it, but we can still do that on the internet too. But we got to think about the people who know a lot of people. A lot of people who we got to think about the people to meet are the people that network a lot, so we can meet the people that network.
My grandfather said to me, he ran lunch trucks and he was a construction contractor, and he said to me, if you want business, go sit in the diner. You're going to be at a full cross section of people that come in there. I'll tell a diner story after we get done this, but
Amanda is the diner.
Yes,
because she does a lot of networking. It's not about a diner in the modern day as much. It's the proverbial diner. She's got a lot of friends.
It's a great point.
She goes to concerts. She's got lots of friends. She networks with all these people where she has that giving organization and that kind of thing. And she had all her friends watching our show because she was on it.
Yep.
We talk about, and that's Keep Delco Smiling. That was that episode, if you remember that.
So
episode.
If you have an expert on tiny homes, he may not tell his friends like Amanda would, because do you see the point I'm making?
Yes.
Totally.
Yes. And again, we had Eric Jesper on, and he was our second guest. But Eric hooked us in with his social media sites. He took a clip of the program, put it on Facebook, shared it on LinkedIn, and we ended up over several platforms getting over 300 views because he was engaged and he has a big network, and he was the diner. He brought them to our closing table, to join in what we're doing here.
And everybody networks with him. By the way, I thought his show was fascinating. But
I love him. He's we had our Christmas party up there 2 weeks ago. I guess it was 2 weeks ago Saturday, I think. What was got it. Time's flying. But it'll be 2 weeks this Saturday. Long story short, he came. I ran a little suite for my family and a couple colleagues and a couple agent friends, and he stopped in the booth. And he stopped in and said hello to us. Like, he's going to be on the broadcast that night. He's busy. It was their teddy bear toss. It was our Seats for Heroes night that we gave free seats to veterans. He comes in. He's a 21-year-old guy. He gets it. You talk about networking. The guy knows how to network. He stopped in the booth and he said hello. He greeted my family and all. And I just think he's got That's everything awesome. Working. That guy. He's really way above his years.
Well, after the podcast was over, we were still on, him and I, and we were talking about note taking and language learning and all kinds of stuff. Like,
I didn't know this.
Learning vocabulary words and all kinds of stuff that applies to being a broadcaster.
It's awesome. Yeah, he's very learning.
Let me throw something out there. So tonight is we did something different, and we are live on Facebook. So we got some new people chiming in. We got Johnny over here. Good evening, everyone.
Is that a friend of yours, Bay?
Yeah.
Okay. You know her.
Him.
I'm sorry.
Yep. It looks like he's Irish, Bay.
No, it's got to be great.
We got Cameron over here.
Look at that.
What's up, Cameron?
Thanks for joining. It's our episode number 24. Follow us monthly. If you're new, Bay put us on Facebook this month. A little change of pace. There's a friend of mine calling when we're on air. But it's always, that phone's always ringing. Glad you could join. This month's a little bit of fun. We did a little bit of real estate news, but it's our 24th episode, our 2-year anniversary show. And we're just kind of, as my grandfather would say, we're just shooting the shit and just having a little conversation here for the holidays.
Well, one of the coolest things that Eric said, he said that one of the broadcasters that he looked up to was from back in the day. And when he would get ready for a show, because there's tons of preparation, he would make notes on little notepads. He would tear out the page of the notepad, and he would have all these notes, and he would rent a hotel room, and he would use one bed to organize all his notes and one bed for him to sleep in. So he's got one bed full of all these like basic Post-it notes and notepad notes all over the bed, and he's organizing it with names and stories for each name and statistics and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I'll tell you, in the ECHL, I'll give you a quick example. So there's a lot of roster movement because that is the AA division. And if there's injuries at the AAA level or the professional, the Flyers level, the pro level, the NHL level, other guys got to be moved up. And they sometimes have to go get players in the lesser leagues, the non-professional leagues, to move up. So he has to learn new names constantly. The consistency of the roster turns over. For example, tonight they're playing in Norfolk, and they just had to get another goalie out of one of the other leagues because Carter Hart was sick, and they had a whole bunch of movement upwards, and that means sometimes the Royals are left short. He does an amazing job adjusting to rosters and understanding players and giving you some insight on the players. If you didn't listen to that one, Bay, that's what, 2 podcasts ago, episode 22?
Yes.
So go back. It's Eric Jessberger. He's the voice of the Reading Royals, who are the ECHL affiliate of the Philadelphia Flyers. It goes Royals, Phantoms, Flyers, if you like hockey. It's a great, even if you don't, like Hub said, he's a fascinating guest. A lot of insight, 21-year-old, just graduating Temple. He's the play-by-play voice of the Royals.
So how would that apply to real estate, like note-taking and that kind of thing, and communication skills?
I think we've lost, I'm pretty blunt, we've lost a lot of it, Hub. It's a disaster. The old school way of doing things was being learned. And here's an example, Hub. If I met you and you called me up and you said, Dan, I want to buy a house or list my house, you know what I would say to you? Hub, what's a good time for us to sit down? Now, you could do it in different formats today, but this is 2006. What's a good time for me and you to sit down and have a conversation? And you would come to my office, or I would come to you, and you and I would take with me a notepad. And maybe your wife would have a different, your wife might say, I would prefer a jacuzzi tub. It's not super important, but I would like it. I make a note of it. And I would try to match you with all the information that you gave me, and I would take physical notes on it. It's changed now. It's ignorant now.
There was an episode where I was talking about how Paul Igo, his customer was interested in buying a house that had already gone off listing. And so he tried to contact the seller, and the seller only wanted to text with him. You remember when we talked about that?
Yes.
And he was mad because the original seller, did not want to just get on the phone so they could talk about the details in a more in-depth way. He thought that he just didn't want to bother. He just wanted to text. He didn't want to take out the time.
I talked to my wife's cousin when we sold her house. Facebook Messenger was our primary means of communication.
Wow.
I found that at least talking on the phone, you're able to do more explorative talking about what does the person want and what do you have to offer. Because I remember when this texting thing came in and people stopped returning our call, they would only text with you.
Yep.
And not all people, but
you have
a
to
lot
watch
of
what
people
you say on the text too. You have to watch what you say on the text too, how you word things, because like my mother said, people can take things out of context. It's how you say things and word things.
Yeah, but see, people would call me for an appointment and they would say, do you have Thursday at 3:00? Well, before I had more, when people would call me, I would say I would have what they call explorative thinking, meaning I could give them more options. I could say I might have 3:00. I think this time's better because you're not so tired. The customer won't be as tired when they're coming to their lesson. Or I might have 3 or 4 different options for them that were better for them. And then they would be able to think, hey, I got a bigger choice. And then they'd be able to make a better decision. I'd be able to walk it through with them.
Right. Makes sense.
The talking on the phone, again, texting and messaging is a great thing, but it's only a tool, and it's not, you've got to have both. I think you need a balance.
Definitely, you do. And we always say old school meets new school, and that's a perfect thing where you do need to have the balance. I'll give you this example. We just had a fraud situation where a guy out of the blue called one of my agents, who's a part-time agent, has an auto body company, so he does both. He's been an agent for 35 years. The guy called him out of the blue, very heavy accent, hard to understand, and said, I have a piece of land that I want to list for sale. So Bill said, how did you get my name? And he had a small conversation with him, but Bill couldn't really understand him very well. So we didn't, in hindsight, we didn't vet him well enough. We list the house for sale, right? We get a buyer. We will keep the story short, but so when you do the conveyancing, you have to have the client's social security number and date of birth, because they run a check on you to see if you are a illegal criminal, and that's called Patriot Act, and they check to see if you have back child support. So the guy wasn't giving us a social security number or a green card number or some sort of equivalent. We find out he doesn't own the land. It was fraud. It was a guy from India trying to push a deal through, and we caught him because we vetted out the process, but it cost us time and money. We did find the original owner. We got the cops involved. There was a lot that went on. We should have vetted him up front. So now we changed policy. When something happens, what do? You change the policy and you say, guess what? From now on, conveyancing information's up front. We run the domestic relations. We run the Patriot Act out front to our conveyancers, and then we know if this is legitimate and we move forward. But again, it goes back to paying attention to detail, spending time with people, and getting information from people. Because is a lot that goes into these things, and you don't want to go down a path like we did, and then the whole deal blows up because a guy was trying to defraud us from a foreign country.
Well, any project, when you make a mistake, and this is what they say, almost all mistakes are because you didn't think through what you were going to do enough.
Right.
So if you're going to have a communication better, it's going to give you the information so you can think it through. And I went to Home Depot and I bought we were sprucing up the guest house, and I went to Home Depot and I bought a garbage disposal to replace it. In Texas, we don't call it a garbage disposal. We call it a garbage disposal. So everything goes down in there.
Yeah, right.
And so I bought one time from a guy used, and he gave me a review and said that I was a good customer. I bought I paid him well for the garbage dispose-all. That's how he spelled it. Okay, so what happened was, and I told Bay this story, is that we put the cheaper one in. We found out they've changed it, and so now the cheaper one that is a Badger, you don't even want to buy it because it's too hard to put in. You got to buy almost $200 one to put in. So I took that back and I got the Moen one, which was $99, and then we put that in, and I thought, you know what? I just wasted a bunch of time. I don't want to dispose all in this guest house because I don't want people putting stuff down in there,
right,
clogging things up. And there's no reason, if it's just a guest house, for me to have a disposal in there.
Right.
And so I took it out and took it back to Home Depot, and we fixed it so I don't have a disposal in there.
See, makes sense.
But the thing is, I spent all that time, but then I thought, like you were talking about, and Bay said, well, was that a problem? I said, well, the problem is that I didn't think deeply enough about it.
Right.
That, do I really need a disposal? Because there's always been one in there. That doesn't mean it needs to be in there. But I'd rather have it out of there and not have to mess with it in the future again.
Very good point.
And so it's about the long haul. It's not about right now. So I took it back. I didn't lose any money other than the labor and the time. But we put that in and we got that done. And like I say, that's another weird thing, is because they're changing because it's been, when we moved in, when we are refurbishing the house now, re-sprucing it up, there's all kinds of stuff that they're trying not to phase out. And one of them is they're changing products, like they made the disposal by Badger to where it even says on the one that's a little more expensive, that this is our easiest one to install. So the cheaper one, you might as well not buy it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're changing technology.
Yeah.
And I changed some fluorescent light bulbs, and these aren't fluorescent. This is a fixture, and it's really hard to buy fluorescents now. They want you to use a disposable fixture.
Yeah.
So they're changing all kinds of stuff. And
fluorescents have the CFCs. They want to get rid of those bulbs.
It's not everything is. You can take an LED that's like a fluorescent,
right,
put it in,
right,
and that's great. That's great, but they want you to buy a whole new unit, and then when it burns out, just throw it away and get another whole new unit.
Disposable. Yep.
And so I don't know. And so we did get one, but I got one used. So because the new one is like $200, and I bought it for $35 used, because there's no reason to spend all that money.
That's your hub segment here. Bay, read the question from Cameron you put up.
Honestly, I can't read it because my screen
I got
is
it. I'll read it. I put in so much work on the house that he owns. He bought it 12 years ago, and he can get double of what he bought it for now since putting all the work into it. So, Cameron, some things people put money into that's for their use. Some things really add value to the house. So maybe he might want to elaborate on what he did. Kitchens, bathrooms, basements, curb appeal add a lot of value to the house, plus inflation and where we're at with these house prices. But it's a good point. So he said that he bought the house 12 years ago, and as Hub said, he put some work into it, and now he can get double for what he paid for his house.
Is he selling the house would be a good question.
I'm going to say no.
Okay. This is the one he lives in.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is a good point. I don't think you can go wrong. As Hub said, maybe you might want to not spend. You might want to spend wiser instead of just dumping all your money out. But it is good to put money into your houses, and the cost of everything has gone up so much. Kind of pick and choose what makes sense for you to do, what project you're going to do at what time. I notice a lot of people putting bathrooms in now. It's very expensive. Someone just told me $20,000 to $25,000 to put their bathroom in.
All right. I got a question for you, Dan.
There's way to save money on that. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Absolutely.
Something that's very popular that I had put in my old house. You have these places. I guess they're like different names, but some are called like 2-day
bath fitters. Yeah, like bath fitters.
Bath fitters. Yes.
Yeah.
Is that like a very popular thing, and is that a good way to go?
Kind of a little bit, kind of elaborate on what Hub was kind of talking about with his segment there. You get a quick, nice looking, not so much the highest quality, but it's kind of like that molded plastic. It's very easy to clean. So as maintenance, it's very easy.
Right.
But again, just like these car places like Car Sense and all, you are paying for the convenience because like Hub mentioned about being value. So you're getting something that looks nice that can be installed without major demo in a short amount of time that's going to really serve the purpose and give you a new look, easy to clean, but it's not the best quality because most of it's plastic a lot of times. But I'm considering doing something like that for my master bathroom since we spent so much money on a hall bath. They're going to charge you like $7,000 for something that really should be about $3,500, $3,800.
Right.
So what is this that you're talking? What specifically is this?
It's like it's like Rebath or Bath Fitters. What they do is their tagline is new bathroom in a day. So if you have an old shower, they can come in some instances and go right over the top of your old shower with a new one-piece molded design. And some they rip out the tub, some they don't.
That's what I ripped my tub out, made it just a shower, and I loved it.
And it is, my brother-in-law is a very high-end contractor. He wouldn't put in a one-piece molded plastic because it wasn't doing it right for him because he's such a quality contractor. But my mom's like, I'll give you this. We're having trouble with hard water stains on the ground. And I was in there scrubbing it with CLR because I was getting a discoloration and it looks like a Gavone. So when you have that one-piece shower like you're talking about, it's easy to clean. You spray it with scrubbing bubbles and you're good to go.
Done.
So it's Mom, you on? So we were just talking about that, about the ease of cleanliness of those. So they do have their place. They just charge a lot of money. And another thing with them, Bay, they don't leak. They lock together.
Yep.
They make sense. I mean, you're going to pay for it, but it's an easy job. If you want something that is sustainable, easy, but of lower quality that can be done in a couple of days, they have their market niche. It's a good point. But like Hub was saying, how much do you spend, versus, the type of job you want to get done, and where's that sweet spot that makes sense? You do have to look at that today.
Yeah.
And how long is it going to last? How long is it going to keep working?
I'll tell you what, those one-piece moldeds, they're of low quality, but to me, you have to
they give you a guarantee of
they really did
at
like
least
20
10 years.
Right?
Yeah, 20 years. Yeah.
They don't leak. They're very good. I mean, they're just used a cheaper product and they're not as fancy as an all-tile bathroom. But what I'm doing with the bathroom that I built especially for Joe, for the special needs, so Julie could give him a shower better. It's bigger. It doesn't have a door. But man, that thing's a pain to take care of. I just spent an hour scrubbing that thing with CLR because of the hard water stains. Wow. So, you do have that. Where's Mom at tonight? My mom's not commenting. Mom dished us tonight. She's out of here.
I don't know anything about what that system that you're talking about.
Yeah, we're going to look it up. It's called Bath Fitters. Before we get out of here, let's, and we brought it up a little bit, some of our favorite moments from the show that so far, like maybe something quirky. I'll tell you, and me and Bay talked about this before. I had a lot of good feedback on the Mike Keener episode of him reminiscing about the wrestling days. I know my buddy Mike Baker loved it. I had a lot of good feedback on that one. I know Hub cringes, but I love when Amanda and him had a little bit of questioning on subject matter.
I didn't even.
Hub, that's my favorite thing because of the reaction. It wasn't about the subject at all. It was just about the visceral reaction. I love that. Because Hub didn't know how to respond for a second. I thought it was freaking great. That was one of my favorite things about it. I
didn't even remember it at all until you pointed it out after we went off the air.
I cannot. That's one of my favorite moments on the show. It was just so funny.
Hysterical.
And then
I didn't remember it at all. Nothing.
Another thing, Hub sharing his tools. A lot of people like some of those segments. We're going to bring those segments back, and we're going to do a special block in the right time frame of the Hub segments with some of the stuff that Hub shares with us. He shared with us. Oh my God! Oh, the C wrenches. Remember the C clamps? We had that episode. We had the screwdriver stuff that Hub shared with us. So that's kind of my stuff. What do you got? What do you got, Bay?
I was just gonna say, I'm thinking ahead already. I'm jazzed up for going into the new year because I have like some guests planned that I want to approach.
We need help with guests. We do. Listen, and everyone, when I went to conference last year, they had a company there that was going to help you start your podcast. We've been doing it for 2 years. So everybody's going to do a podcast. We've been on here live, and I know I have a good friend at Opus Elite. They do a great podcast, Opus Elite Real Estate, Mark Gatta. We do a great podcast every month, and it's fun. Like, we have fun. We bring guys on from different parts of the country, and I'll let you go, Bay. But we've been doing this for 2 years. Bay and Bay's such an accomplished professional in this sphere, and we wanted to kind of mesh this together, and it's been good. It's been good. What do you got, Bay?
I like the guy with Goosehead Insurance.
Yes, Dave. In fact, I just talked to him. We'll save this, but he's going to help my brother-in-law, I think, get insurance for his beach house because AAA dropped the ball. Next episode, we'll go into detail on that. But Dave Tomlin, in fact, I'll tell you this. Don't I find out at my Christmas party, my mortgage guy who's been on Beau DeForge, doesn't he use Dave Tomlin for all his properties, all his investment properties? I never knew it. I never knew the connection. So isn't it funny how like-minded people come together in Beau and Dave, because it's humans over houses. It's good people that put in the work, and that's Dave Tomlin. Go ahead, whoever.
You got such a great core, between your next home office itself and Beau with the mortgage and Dave with the insurance. It's a great.
Tell me why I can't recruit agents. I have my core group from day one, and we really haven't been able to grow. Not that we want to.
Okay, well, you know what? Actually, I was thinking about this the other day, Dan. I'm going to put you on the spot now. Why don't we just go balls to the walls and bring some new agents in there and just blow this thing up?
I'll tell you, here's the problem. I tell the truth. So we got people out there. People
can't handle the truth.
I tell you straight. It's not easy. We're not going to hand you leads all the time that are going to be great. You're going to have to. This is what Dave Stinson did for us. Dave Stinson said, and this hub would like this, I'm going to teach you from the ground up how to be a professional realtor and be able to work in all different kinds of markets and be able to help buyers, sellers, rentals, commercial, but you have to put in the work. We're going to sit down and learn the agreement of sale. We're going to take notes like Hub talks about, and we're going to put in the time and the detail to make you. Now, he didn't have to do that. And I always talk about Pops because he got me to where I am. And I'll tell you this, I'm always late, but real quick, a corporate sent me a new agent. They said, Dan, we want you to talk to her. I set up the time to talk to her. She never jumped on the call. She said she didn't realize it said 2:30. In the email, it said 2:30. I'm not sure. Second time, we set up a time to call, 3:30 in the afternoon, right? No show. Okay. I called her back. I said, what happened? You missed this one. She said, oh, I forgot to set my alarm, 3:30 in the afternoon.
Wow.
She just got out of college. Okay. Set up a third call. So we get on the call the third time with her. And we had a nice conversation. I explained to her what we do, who we are, how we go about our business. She says, I like what I hear. I'd like to come and see you. I said, when is a good time for you to come in? I'll adjust my schedule. I don't do anything. I just run a $14 million office by constantly running. I don't do anything. So when can she said Monday at 10:30. I said, I'll meet you at my office. I'm working with an Amish guy down in Cochranville. He needed to see me. I said, listen, I'm going to have to do this. Then I'll come to you, even though that was going to make me money. So I said, look, I'll come down, Abram, and I'll see you in a little bit. I go to the office. My wife says she's not going to show up. I said, nah, she's going to show up, Julie. I'm in the office. I'm sitting there. I'm waiting. I'm dressed up. I'm waiting. Nothing. No phone call. No. I sent her an email. I said, I guess you forgot our appointment at 10:30 this morning. You never showed up. Nothing. This is why we don't waste our time. Me, Lisa, Ann, Evelyn, Bill.
You know what? You gave her more chance that
I did.
After the second time, I would have. Goodbye.
My wife says, you're too nice. You're a dodo bird. I'm telling you, she's not going to show up. She didn't show up.
I think you are a really good manager. I think it's just really hard to find people that really want to do the right work.
Well, Hub, when Dave taught me, sometime I was the only one in that training meeting. Here's a guy that had 50 years of experience, and he would teach you granularly, line by line on the agreement. I sat there and learned it all. People weren't willing to put in the time to learn it, and they're out of the business. If the guy's going to take the time, just like you did teaching somebody, and you want to really do that business, and you're engaged, like my friend Imran would say, why wouldn't you absorb that information from somebody that had so much knowledge?
The other thing, the metaphor I used to use is that I can teach people all different kinds of styles and all kinds of things, but that doesn't mean they're even going to be interested in those styles. I'm not going to be able to get them to do it. And it reminded me of going to a buffet that I went to one time in San Diego. Because in California, you got all the fresh vegetables. Right. And this was a buffet that had a salad bar that was incredible. And people were going through the salad bar, and they were getting a little bit of salad, but they were getting a hot dog with the salad. And they had all these exotic foods that were there, and they were still getting a hot dog.
Yeah, see? Yeah, see?
You guys got to come to Nashville. I'm going to take you to Daddy's Dogs. Best freaking hot dog I ever had in my life. Mind blowing.
We got to check that out. So, Bay, real quick.
We'll try it.
We're going to try it. What do you got? Any thought, Bay, on kind of your favorite moments from the show?
Jess Berger was super cool. I never. That's somebody who like that category. Like I've interviewed so many people in every industry, but never like an announcer. So diving into that and being able to talk and learn the ins and outs, especially from a young kid. When you just said he was 21, I mean, it's mind-blowing.
He's going to be doing my read real soon. They kick off at 7, and he does every night. He'll say, starting a net for the Royals is so-and-so, and then he'll say, and you can step into your next home with NextHome Brandywine. He does our read every night on a broadcast. Awesome. So, Hub, your last final thoughts on kind of a guest that you liked and your thoughts on the show since you joined it.
They were all amazing, and the ones that we did were quite. You never know what, especially when it's somebody like the Goosehead Insurance, you never know what they're going to be like and what they're going to do. But like I was saying, the point I was making earlier is that those did bring a lot of people in, but I think the one that pushed people to our site and got people was Amanda, because she basically does her networking. She was thrilled to be on the show. Obviously, by her actions, it was shown because of the way she shared it.
And Bay, that means you're in charge of booking guests because you booked that guest that month.
Okay. You know who else was great? Your cousin was great too. Your photographer.
Oh, Jody. Yeah,
Jody. Yeah, she's got a ton of energy and she's excellent at what she does. One thing I wanted to mention, I mentioned it. And Hub and I always say we're going to catch up, but I'm always so busy and I always unable to do so. We don't script anything, nothing, zero scripted on the show. This is three
and I think
guys
it's better that way.
Yeah.
We're from different parts of the country. We throw a topic out there before the show. We jump on, but everybody's got enough confidence in their own skin and astuteness to say, hey, we're going to bring this to you every month. And I think it's been awesome. Even tonight's show, I said I want to be on for 40 minutes. We're on 59 minutes, 30 seconds, but because There you go. Tonight's show brought to you by NextHome Brandywine for all your real estate needs heading into 2024. We talked about how busy we are. And to wrap it up, I'm going to let Bay do the official part. Hub, Bay, I wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Bay.
You guys are great, and I appreciate you, Hub. You don't have to come on here, and I appreciate you coming on every month and joining us.
Also, real quick, Dan, you have a new website.
Well, updated websites. This is a newer site since we changed platforms. It's much more robust. It's better technology. It's based on a KV Core platform. It's danpizzi.nexthomebrandywine.com. It's danpizzi.nexthomebrandywine.com. You also have our site, nexthomebrandywine.com, our corporate site, which is awesome and updated, nexthome.com. And I have an alternate site with a ton of information on it, PAGOT. That's PAGothomes.com. So we're trying to freshen stuff up. We're going to be redoing our paperwork for this year. We're going to bring the same energy, enthusiasm into 2024. We'll be back with you in January. But yes, thank you for mentioning it. We're trying to keep pace with old school meets new school and humans over houses. We're not just lip service. We're living it. We give it to you straight. Like I said, we're going to give you the information you need to make an educated decision in your transaction. And that's what we live by. And that's why these two guys are on a program. We give it to you straight every month. Honest opinions. Like Hub said, we don't always have to agree, but we give it to you straight. And we hope you tune in 2024 as we continue this podcast and hopefully grow our businesses. Hopefully everybody's business does better in 2024. Go to the ballot box and vote. We need some new energy here, and hopefully we get that coming into this year. All right, Bay, take us out of here.
All right, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in for another episode of The Closing Table from all of us here at The Closing Table and Next Home Brandywine. We
and
want to
Mrs.
wish
Renfro's.
you and Mrs. Renfro's, our new sponsor. We want to wish you and yours a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever it is you do celebrate, and more importantly, a happy, safe, and prosperous new year. We'll be back January 2024. We're going to have more fun, and we're going to sell a lot more houses because it's all humans over houses here at Next Home Brandywine. Go to nexthomebrandywine.com, hit up Dan, and get in to that new home that you deserve.
Thank you, everybody.